What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options, I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing, I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
Callin' my bitch, tell her bring me that noggin. Brain real good, she a scholar. I like a thing with low mileage, good brain with no college. Call me the baby, no Tyler. I'm real creative and stylish. F in my denim. I send that hit, make them spin 'em. And I just flew back from LA.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2, Episode 4 of Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk. For today's special guest, we have the queen of softball. She has won a world championship with the Team USA. Former Gatorade Female Athlete of the Year, Miss Kelley Lynch. Welcome to the show.
Hi, yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Definitely. So how have things been with you and your family during this pandemic thus far?
Yeah, so I just moved back to Seattle for college on August 1st. So I've been here for a few weeks now, but I mean, just kind of like everyone else around the country and world, pretty much, we were just kind of trying to limit our risk of going outside and hanging out what we would normally be doing, hanging out with my family while I'm home for the summer. So it's definitely a lot different, but got some quality time with my immediate family, that I live with. So it was nice to get back home and hang out with them. But other than that, wasn't much going on. So
definitely. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you were the 2019 Female Gatorade Athlete of the Year. Just tell us what it's like to win such a prestigious award.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes hard to put in words. Growing up, I never really imagined that I'll be blessed with the opportunities and kind of platforms that I've been able to be a part of. But yeah, I mean, just saw the amazing friendships that I gained just through the Gatorade Awards ceremony. James Wiseman now going to be in the NBA probably next year. Bobby Witt Jr. Playing with the Royals and all the amazing female athletes. The experience as a whole was just crazy, unforgettable. And then when I found out I was actually winning the award and going to be on Sports Illustrated, I just didn't even know how to react. I guess to describe it would be like speechless, but definitely biggest honor probably that I've achieved so far. So yeah.
So tell us what is your typical day like with your softball workouts, and how many pitches would you say you throw a day?
Yeah, so right now is a little different than it would look if we were in season. So we're still in summer right now. We haven't started school back. So kind of with our Corona protocols right now, we basically sign up for a time to work out every day. So for me, it's been around 12:30 in the afternoon. And then we also have to sign up for when we want to go use the field because there's only 5 people allowed on the field at a time right now. So a lot of scheduling going on right now. So I'll text one of my buddies on the team, if I want to pitch or hit, and I'll have to get one of them to meet me there. But a typical day, if you kind of take Corona out of the equation, was we would wake up and lift at 7 a.m. and then we go to our classes from around 8 to 12 is kind of the window time that we would have classes. So we'd go to class and then we'd have practice from about 3 to 5. So
pretty full day, huh?
Yeah, pretty full day, but you get some breaks in between there, obviously, but that's kind of a typical day. And then pitching wise, I try to throw 3 times a week. I'm not really sure on pitch count because softball, we're not really as strict on counting our pitches like baseball is, but I would say my bullpens probably range from anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes. So it kind of just depends what I want to work on that day. But
so speaking of pitching, can you tell us the different pitches that you have the ability to throw, and what would you say is your best pitch? And also, what is it about your best pitch that makes it so hard to hit?
Yeah, so me personally as a pitcher, I throw probably about 3 to 4 pitches mainly. I'll throw a screwball, a rise ball, a changeup, and then my newer pitch is kind of, I guess you could call it like a drop ball, like a 2-seam kind of shove ball. My favorite pitch to throw is a rise ball, and it's also my best pitch. And I think the reason that I like to throw it so much and why I think it's kind of stumps hitters the most is because I guess it kind of goes against your normal gravitation. So, growing up as a kid, everything you see goes down. All baseball pitches pretty much go down, but softball, we're able, since we throw underhanded, to actually like create backspin on the ball and get it to jump up. So I personally think that is why it's so effective, just because it's kind of like something that you don't normally see. But yeah, that's my favorite pitch, the rise ball.
Right. That's very unorthodox. That's really cool. So take us back to the Florida State game, when you had the 3-run homer. Can you tell us like what was going through your mind before that play? And did you have an idea that led you to think, okay, my pitch is coming up?
Yeah. I think every time I step in for an at-bat, I try to plan out my at-bat, not necessarily the outcome, but just kind of my mental process, what pitches I'm looking for. And we were watching film before that game. We knew she came inside to right-handed hitters a lot. So throughout the at-bat, I was kind of looking for that pitch. And I actually had a lot of foul balls at at-bat, I think so. So I was looking for my pitch, but just couldn't quite get on plane with it. And then full count, I saw it again and was able to get on time with the pitch. So that's kind of like my mental process. I always try to, kind of pick a spot of what pitch I want for that at bat, whether probably trying not to hit her best pitch, but maybe something that I can get onto. So that's just was kind of my thought process during that at bat.
Definitely. Now, also in that game, you were pitching as well. 5 innings, and you pitched 5 innings and allowed 0 runs. Tell us what was working for you that game.
Yeah, I think just how we were talking about the rise ball is my favorite pitch. I think I was having a good day with that pitch on that particular day. They were swinging at it, so we just kind of kept going with it, because sometimes I'll get in trouble, if you leave a rise ball too low, it's an easy kind of home run ball to hit out. So I think just a combination of them kind of chasing at pitches that were pretty up in the zone, and then me kind of having a good confidence going into that game.
Wow, so that was an amazing game for you. Would you say that was your best game of your freshman career thus far?
Yeah, I think for me it's probably the most memorable, just because putting on the UW uniform, that was one of our first major big games against, another top 25 team, top 10 team, I think. So I think the nerves were up before the game. So definitely a memorable one for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, is there a softball player who you would say you modeled your game after growing up? And what is it about them that you admired the most, and which you tried to take from their skill and incorporate it in your game as well?
Yeah, I think as a little kid, I always looked up to Jenny Finch. She played at Arizona and also played on Team USA, and was kind of like a big name in softball the time I was growing up and was a little kid. I remember I had life-size, like, cardboard cutouts of her, like, randomly in my room. And I really just, like, loved watching her play. But I would say also my sister, she was 4 years older than me and started playing fast pitch. And she got a D1 scholarship to Kennesaw State in Georgia, and that kind of, she's always been my role model, just as kind of a big sister is for anybody, but especially in softball to me, just because it was someone I could talk to, relate to, ask advice for, and just kind of like follow in the footsteps. So I owe a lot of my success to her for kind of dipping my toes in the sport. So. Right,
definitely. That's great. That's great. To have an older sibling, who participated in sports. I know from my personal experience, I was a football player, but I played basketball as well. And I had an older sister who was 5 years older than me. And, she would just dog me on the court, but it just made me so much better. It created a kind of a very ferocious, style to me, because, by her being so much older than me, she would dominate me every time. And that just, it kind of creates a very competitive environment. So.
Yeah, similar here. My sister was 4 years older than me. So about the age gap where she could beat me in pretty much anything we played. But, it was still so much fun just for me to kind of be around her and her friends that played. That was just like an honor for me. I thought it was so cool that, she would let me throw catch with them or do whatever. So definitely.
Yep. So could you tell us some of the goals that you would like to achieve for yourself and your team as well?
Yeah, so I think this year has definitely been super, super interesting, as we've all seen. So I think my goals maybe switched just a little bit and are kind of more based on my mental game at this point, just because everything is so in the air with our seasons. And at this point, like I said, we're not even able to have team practice. So it's a lot of either practicing on your own or with just a couple of the girls on the team. So my goals right now have been really trying to work on my mental part of the game, and kind of we're actually doing it as a team. We're kind of reading this book together that's all about the mental side of the game and just trying to figure out when we're at our best, what's going through our head and all that kind of stuff. So for this upcoming year and season, I'd really like to improve the mental part of the game. And as far as our team as a whole, we're returning all of our seniors from last year. Thanks NCAA for granting the eligibility again, and then adding our new freshman class. So we're adding 5 more players. And yeah, I'm super, super excited for this season. Like I said, we haven't got to meet as a team all together quite yet, but we're all super excited and looking forward to getting after it together.
Definitely, I bet. So can you tell us what are some of the music that you listen to before games? Maybe some artists that you really are your go-to artists that get you ready to play a softball game.
Yeah. I don't have really specific like playlist or anything I listen to. But I would say I probably listen to rap the most before games, and I don't know, I listen to anything like Lil Baby. I like Young Thug.
Lil Baby, hot dog.
Yeah, that's my guy.
So yeah, I would say rap artist, maybe a little bit of like EDM music. But yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Nettleville, the floor is now yours.
Kel, take me back to your 2017 and 18 year when your team had won back-to-back state championships in high school. What is your fondest memories from that, from those 2 years? And can you please name a few people and coaches that was on that team with you?
Yeah. I think the coolest part about winning the state championship was just kind of taking a step back and seeing how involved our community really was, through our high school sports. And our head coach, Franklin DeLoach, love him. I still talk to him pretty often to this day. And all the coaches on there, Mark Bowles, Coach Blair, all of our coaches did a good job that year of they knew we had good talent on the team. So it was just a matter of kind of getting the glue together and figuring out how we were going to work that year. And so, yeah, I would say the best part about winning state championship, besides, getting to wear the ring around school and kind of feeling like a part of something bigger, was just seeing, like I said earlier, how much our community supported us through that time, driving up to the tournament just to see us play. And then when we did it for the second year, back-to-back, it was just insane. Everyone was so proud of us. It was like everywhere we went, we were hearing congrats. And I think it was really cool to see our community embrace, especially a female sport. It was a really, really, really cool time. So, yeah.
What is your academic major, and what is your plans to do when you achieve your degree?
Yeah, so right now I'm majoring in communications, and as far as when I graduate, I'm planning to get my master's degree as well. I'm not 100% specifically what I want to do with that, but I definitely want to keep playing once I graduate college. So I'll probably try to join the pro league. It's growing, it's getting bigger and bigger every year. So looking forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to join that, and then be able to get a job sometime after that. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet, but I'm majoring in communications right now. So,
who was the first person that introduced you to the sport of softball? And what age did you actually fall in love with the sport?
Yeah, so my older sister, Katie, 4 years older than me, started playing softball, and I think I started playing right before I turned 4 years old. So I was pretty young when I started playing, and I guess I've loved it ever since. But yeah, like I was talking about earlier, she's the one who introduced me to the sport. All my memories from when I was a kid playing in the front yard, she's involved in all of them. So yeah, definitely my sister introduced me and got me to fall in love with softball.
So my next question is, I'm gonna give you a little bit of synopsis of my story before I ask you a question. So we have something in common. My dad his name is Stephen Jackson, as well as your father's name is Steve, because I had read an article on it. And I actually just lost my father 6 months ago. When me and my brother was going to do an interview, out of town. And the way it had affected me was like, man, with Diamond or Sports Talk, man, push harder. You just lost your father. For your father, you gotta. It's now or never. How did losing your father affect your career? Did it elevate your career for you to transform and and go harder, or did you push back from softball when you lost your father for a little while and then continued your career?
Yeah. First off, sorry for your loss. Sending prayers to you and your family. I also think that I was 11 when I lost my dad, but the time he got sick, he passed away of cancer, and it was only not even a year from the time he got diagnosed till he passed away. So for me and my sister, he was always like our coach of our softball teams, kind of whatever we were doing, he was always involved. And I think growing up around always having, my dad at my practices, at my games, my biggest fan, I think when he passed away, a dream that we kind of all shared, me, my dad, and my sister, that me and my sister both wanted to play D1 softball, and he wanted that for us more than anything, for us to not only get a college education, but, be able to play softball at the same time. So watching my sister kind of go through that transition in high school was very eye-opening to me, to see her live out her dreams and get to play D1 softball. I was like, man, like I want to do that. And anytime I step on the softball field, that's when I feel closest to my dad. And I think that definitely his passing made me want to achieve the goals and dreams that I set for myself even more. And I would 100% say that it definitely pushed me, and it still does to this day, on days where I don't really might be in the mood to go do it, but I'll just remember like, man, how blessed am I that, I'm able to live this life. And I would say 100% that, yeah, it pushes me every day, not only in sports, but kind of whatever I'm doing.
Can you please name a time that you was faced with adversity, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think I can name a lot of times I was faced with adversity. I think we can all say we kind of get hit by adversity every day, but I mean, kind of whether it was, a tough loss in the season or just a bad day in school, maybe I did bad on a test, whatever it is, I think a big part is kind of like building your community, and who do you want to be around, and what kind of environment do you want to be a part of. And moving across country, I had to definitely get a new community out here, friends that I could lean on. And I think that when you're faced with adversity, whether that's in sports, in life, in school, it's very important to kind of have a backbone of whether that's friends, mentors, family, that are always going to be there and help you get through it. Because at the end of the day, when you're going through something hard and you're by yourself, it's going to take you a lot longer to get through it than, if you're with some of your best friends or family beside you. So.
How old were you when you first got ranked in the country? How often does the rankings change, go up and down? And when did you find out that you was going to be the #1 player in America?
Yeah. So the rankings, they do them every year. There's a couple different big companies that will come out with the rankings. I want to say the first time I got ranked was probably my freshman year of high school, and I want to say I was ranked 4th. And then I didn't move up to being ranked the first player until my senior year. So it's kind of working my way up there. And then when I found out my senior year, I was honestly shocked. I didn't think that I would be ranked the first player, but yeah, it happened my senior year. So hard work paid off for sure.
So we dealing with COVID. So I want to fast forward to the Olympics of 2024. Will you be one of the people that will be competing in the softball in the Olympics in the year 2024?
Yeah, so unfortunately for the 2024 Olympics, I don't know if they've said if they're going to have softball in it or not, but softball is a sport that kind of goes in and out of the Olympics. So I do not believe that they will be a part of the 2024 Olympics, although the 2028 Olympics, they still have a shot to be in those. In Los Angeles is where those Olympics will be. And right now, my plans are to continue to play after college. Like I said, I want to try to join the pro league here in America and kind of play for them up until 2028, which will be the Olympics that are held in LA. And I think the Olympics have been the biggest dream since I was a kid, to put on the red, white, and blue and try to compete for a gold medal. So I'll definitely try to achieve that goal. Unfortunately, can't say right now whether that I'll be on the team or not, but definitely am going to try to be for sure.
For my next question, so from looking at a couple of your pictures on IG and reading of what you wrote, I see that you was a strong believer in God, and I am as well. What is your favorite scripture to read in the Bible?
I think I have a lot of favorite Bible verses, but I would say my favorite is probably Philippians 4:13, which is kind of a more common one, but I really do love that verse. And I also try to expand my knowledge of the Bible through softball. So like every new game, I'll try to read a new verse before the game, and that kind of is a way for me to grow in the Word and also just be able to incorporate that into my pregame ritual has been a really cool opportunity. So I'm not really the person to write the same verse, say like on my arm before every game, like on my tape, but Philippians 4:13 has always been a verse that I think for athletes is very easy to relate to. So
I noticed you was once committed to Auburn and you had reopened your recruitment. Can you talk to us about what factors had went into you reopening up your recruitment and ultimately signing with Washington University?
Yeah, so I committed to Auburn my freshman year of high school, and the time I committed, the coaching staff they had was different to the one they currently have. So my junior year of high school, I want to say, they did a coaching switch. So I was just kind of filling out the new coaches. And at that time, once they made the coaching change, I had coaches from a few other schools reach out to me and just say, hey, we're not sure if you're opening your recruitment up again or not, but we just wanted to reach out and say, hey. So I talked with the Auburn coaches, told them I was going to kind of reopen my recruiting and just kind of like see what else is out there and reevaluate kind of my goals and who I think will fit that or will be the best place for me to do that. So my senior year, I came out to Washington with a friend that I went to high school with. Her name's Lily Agan. She's actually a freshman at UW this year playing with me, but she was committed to Washington. So I came out with her, kind of not being super, super serious about the idea of going to college across the United States. I've always been super close to my family and planning to go to school in Auburn for a couple years, which is only 30 minutes down the road. This was like a really big shock to my family, but after some really hard kind of just like self-reflection and like I said, kind of really thinking about what's going to be the best place for me to kind of grow and become what I want to be, who I want to be. And Washington was the place, and I just couldn't ignore all the signs I was getting. And so that's kind of how I ended up at Washington.
That's tight. For my last question, what is your burning desire?
I would say my burning desire is to make the people around me the best versions of themselves they can be. And that's something our head coach, Coach Tarr, tells us every day is how can we become the best versions of ourselves? And for me, I think it's important to look at the people you're around and how can I make them the best version of themselves and create an environment where everyone's able to grow. And I think for me, my burning desire is just to kind of not only better myself, but see the people around me continue to grow and be who they want to be and just try to help them any way that I can to do that. So.
Kels, we thank you for the interview.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was so nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
And like I told you, it's family ties over here.
Yes, go Dogs.
Right. So before we close out the interview, could you tell us your social media platforms so everyone who watches this can follow you? And
yes, my Instagram is Kelley_Lynch, and then my Twitter is Kelley Lynch-27.
So as Kendall mentioned earlier, it was a great pleasure and honor to have you on our show. You're a very good player, and we wish you very much success in your future endeavors.
Yes, thank you. It was an honor to be a part of y'all's show.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, thank you.